This video is brought to you by Brilliant. Today, Elon Musk's feud with Brazil heats up with a possible ban on X. Israel launches a major military operation in the West Bank, and the FBI unveils its findings on the Trump shooting. From TLDR News, this is your daily briefing for Thursday the 29th of August 2024. Today's main story is about the escalating feud between tech billionaire Elon Musk and the Brazilian government. On Wednesday, a Brazilian Supreme Court judge threatened to ban X in the country unless the platform names a legal representative in Brazil within 24 hours. It comes a couple of weeks after Musk announced that X would be closing its operations in Brazil immediately due to what its global government affairs account called censorship orders. For context, X claims that the judge, Alexandre de Moraes, secretly threatened one of its legal representatives in the country with arrest if they did not comply with legal orders to remove some content from the platform. Moraes has also ordered the suspension of more than 100 X accounts in recent years, as part of an investigation into so-called digital militias, accused of spreading misinformation and hate speech during the government of former President Jair Bolsonaro, who lost the 2022 election after falsely claiming that Brazil's electronic voting machines were prone to fraud. Earlier this year, Moraes also opened a probe into Musk after he said he would reactivate accounts the judge had ordered X to block. When asked to explain why the platform had allegedly not fully complied with Moraes' decision, lawyers representing X told the Supreme Court that operational faults had allowed blocked users to stay active. Now, though, Musk has less than a day to name a legal representative in Brazil, with the failure to do so potentially resulting in what the Supreme Court calls a suspension of the social media network's activities in Brazil. Musk has said the court's orders are unconstitutional and incompatible with democratic government, and in a post earlier this month, he called Moraes an utter disgrace to justice. Brazil's Supreme Court has declined to comment on X's claims, with right-wing supporters of both Musk and Bolsonaro viewing Moraes' decision as a form of censorship. However, Moraes' defenders say his actions are necessary to prevent the spread of disinformation and protect democracy at a crucial time. This is also just the latest spat in Musk's escalating war against governments. In the past few weeks, Musk has also tussled with the EU and UK government over allegations of incitement to violence and hate speech on the platform, which has seen a steep downturn in user growth since Musk's acquisition. There's more on the way, but remember to subscribe and ring the bell for more daily briefing tomorrow. Plus, if you want to support the channel like Chad Kinch, then consider joining the new TLDR membership program for just $1.99. Israel has launched a major assault on the West Bank in Jenin, Tulkarem and the Farar refugee camp near Tubas. At least 18 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli forces over the last 2 days, in what's said to be Israel's largest assault in the area in 20 years. Hamas said 10 of its militants had been killed on Wednesday, and the Israeli military claims it has killed a well-known Islamic Jihad local commander, Mohammed Jaber. The Palestinian Authority governing the West Bank condemned the assault, warning it could usher in dire and dangerous results, and the EU's foreign policy chief, Josep Borrell, says Israel's incursion must not be the premises of a war extension from Gaza and a repeat of the destruction there. Recent developments in the West Bank have seen the emergence of new Palestinian movements that are increasingly frustrated with the status quo and are adopting their own strategies against Israeli occupation. Following a suicide attack on August the 19th claimed by Hamas, which injured one civilian, concerns have arisen within the Israeli security establishment about the growing offensiveness of Palestinian groups, particularly those operating in small, independent and covert factions or groups, more commonly known as clandestine cells, which has prompted the military's aggressive response in the West Bank. One political analyst noted that the Palestinian Authority is losing influence, especially among younger populations in the northern West Bank, leading to a shift in the resistance landscape. In response, Israeli forces are reportedly adopting a more aggressive offensive strategy, including invasions, arrests, and operations in densely populated urban areas in the north of the West Bank. Moving to the US now, 6 weeks on from the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, the FBI says it has found no definitive motive and no definitive ideology associated with the shooter Thomas Crooks. After investigating years of Crooks' online activity, they also found no credible evidence that a foreign entity was involved and established that the 20-year-old worked alone. Crooks had searched online for events held by Donald Trump and Joe Biden, as well as the locations of both the Republican and Democratic national conventions. After Trump's July the 13th rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, was announced, Crooks apparently became hyper-focused on that specific event. He registered for the rally 1 week in advance and on the same day Googled how far Lee Harvey Oswald was from President John F. Kennedy when he fatally shot him. Kevin Rojek, head of the FBI's Pittsburgh office, said that we see no definitive ideology associated with Crooks, either left-leaning or right-leaning. Crooks had donated $15 in 2021 to Democratic campaign group Act Blue, but was a registered Republican. Ultimately, Crooks fired at least 8 shots, wounding Trump's ear and killing 1 person in the crowd and injuring 2 others. There were multiple ongoing investigations into the apparent security lapses surrounding the event, and the director of the US Secret Service has resigned after coming under harsh congressional scrutiny. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has marked a reset of relations with the European Union with a visit to Berlin and Paris. At a press conference in Berlin on Wednesday, Starmer said the reset would entail a closer relationship with Europe on things like defence, the economy and exchanges, but, quote, that does not mean reversing Brexit or re-entering the single market or the customs union. Starmer also said we do not have plans for a UK-EU youth mobility scheme, but did not rule out negotiating such an agreement in the future. The European Commission, back in April, actually floated the idea of a deal to allow 18 to 30-year-old UK citizens to work and study in the EU for up to 4 years, but Labour rejected it. During his trip to Berlin, Starmer held talks with Chancellor Olaf Scholz over a new bilateral treaty between their 2 countries, which they aim to finalise by early next year, deepening defence and economic ties whilst also agreeing to develop a joint action plan to tackle illegal migration. On Wednesday evening, Starmer attended the Paralympic Games opening ceremony in Paris, and today held meetings with French business leaders, as well as a summit with President Macron. Finally, in some uplifting news, a middle school in San Francisco has this week unveiled its new free on-campus grocery store. Twice a month, hundreds of students and their families will be able to stock up on food and household items from the store, all for free. The school's neighbourhood, Bayview Hunters Point, is a low-income area, which has limited access to food. Many teachers have complained of poor teaching conditions, reporting that children are coming to school hungry, despite already being provided with free breakfast and lunch at school. This new store is a huge step towards reducing hunger and providing disadvantaged families access to more resources. To set up the store, YMCA of San Francisco, the San Francisco Unified School District, and the city's Department of Children, Youth and Their Families partnered with Gooder, an Atlanta-based startup aiming to reduce hunger and food waste, and Amazon. It's the 4th free grocery store in the nation that Gooder and Amazon have created together. Understanding these kinds of issues is really important, but also difficult. That's why TLDR is here to help you. Unfortunately though, the world's only getting more complex, especially when it comes to tech and AI. Now, I'm not qualified to teach you about that, but luckily Brilliant are. Brilliant is where you learn by doing, with thousands of interactive lessons in maths, data analysis, programming, and AI. Brilliant is a learning platform designed to be uniquely effective. Their first principles approach helps you build understanding from the ground up. Each lesson is filled with hands-on problem solving that lets you play with concepts, a method proven to be 6 times more effective than watching lecture videos. For instance, if you did want to learn more about the increasingly important world of tech, you might want to check out the How Technology Works courses. That runs you through everything from how computer memory works to how exactly GPS can pinpoint your location, or why some online videos buffer, and how compression enables modern streaming. And although I did throw myself under the bus earlier, now I'm not qualified to teach you about that. Jack does have a degree in computer science, and he can tell you that
These courses aren't just high quality, they're also far more interesting than the lectures I sat through. To try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/TLDR, or click the link in the description. That way you'll get 20% off an annual premium subscription, and they'll know you came from us.